Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2024 Buick Envista in the Avenir trim level. This vehicle is sitting on 245/45 Continental tires wrapped around 19-inch alloy wheels with a silver gloss finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is White Frost Tri-Coat. And so it's a pearl coat, white, and looks really nice. When the sun is shining on it, it has a really cool pearl effect. So it's not just a regular white. So here in the front, this is all a gloss black right in here. Gloss black, and then there's a silver piece down in here, looking pretty nice. And the Buick emblem looks pretty classy. This is a very presentable vehicle. So you pull in a driveway, you pull up somewhere, and this doesn't look like a budget-oriented vehicle. Like, it's actually looking good and has a lot of features. So the daytime running light is up here with a turn signal, and there's the headlights system, and it's a projector LED system here in the front. Looking at the profile, it has the body-colored handles here. It has an upper portion of the side mirrors also body-colored. The pillar is blacked out, kind of solidifies the glass back there with the privacy glass. Now the doors go all the way to the bottom of the vehicle, and I'll show you why it does that in a second. And I like these wheels, and I like the way it doesn't have any kind of black cladding or anything like that. Everything's body colored and looks fantastic. This is what the key looks like, and it's fairly sleek and somewhat lightweight. All the buttons are on one side here. This big emblem right here is the lock button. You have the unlock, the ability to open up the power liftgate, which this one has it. Remote start and a panic button as well. There's a physical key on the inside as well. Since it's a full proximity key system, all you have to do is just keep the key in your pocket, and you can use the vehicle 100%. It can be in your pocket, a bag, whatever, as long as it's with you. So if the key's on the outside of the door, to lock the door and unlock it, you just press this button. So the first press will lock it, unlock it is the second press. There's also a physical key location behind this cover. So just back there, you can see it. You'll have to take that cover off to access it though. Having the door going all the way to the bottom of the vehicle and having a seal there kind of keeps this area relatively clean. So you're not going to get your clothes dirty getting in and out with that covered up. So the whole threshold area stays fairly clean. Inside of the passenger door here, it has some hard touch surfaces here and here. Almost everything on here on the door is hard touch. And this right here is technically soft touch, like the surface is soft, but the armrest is like not soft. So something to consider. It's not like a super soft armrest. And so there's a little pocket there. This is it's the handle, but it's also the pocket, and it's also like a smooth plastic in there, so if you put anything in there, it's going to slide around. There's a cup holder and some storage space there in the door. It has the sill plate there, looking nice. Manually adjusted seat. And check out these seats. These are really cool. This is kind of like a, they're calling this a Gideon color. So I'm not really sure what that means, but it's got this piping right here. It's kind of like an off-white, has the white stitching, and it has the perforations there. These are also heated seats as well. And I like the way it has a stitch design here in the back. And these are fairly comfortable seats. They're really made for somebody a little bit smaller than me, but other than that, they're fairly decent. There's the legroom here. Hard touch surfaces here, and it has a non-locking glove compartment. Smooth plastic on the inside. And we have some chrome, gloss black, looking really nice. And then this is the semi-soft, non-reflective dash there. It's that same kind of textured surface that we saw here. And we'll see the sunroof and all that stuff soon. So you can see the privacy glass, and then this gloss black solidifies that. Then it has this gloss black piece right here, and it has these little dimples in it. Looks pretty neat. Kind of gives you that a little bit of extra quality look to it. Then you have the chrome accent here, kind of tapering down. Looking nice. So this door The swing of the door is pretty decent. You can see both these doors. More in the front, there's lots of room there as far as getting in and out. The swing of the door is nice. The back door, the swing could be slightly better, but other than that, look how much room you have getting in and out. There's just lots of headroom and everything. Getting in and out of the back seats, they're really not a problem. The back door is, once again, lots of hard touch surfaces, even a armrest. So yeah, it's funny how it's like the surface is like technically soft, but it's hard as a rock. And the back seat is basically a bench seat. And then it has the latch system for the car seats right here. Just kind of spread that apart and you can see where they attach. Same contrast stitching and all that stuff back here. There's pockets on the back of both front seats. There on the back of that. There's also cup holders and armrest here. These are actually soft. I wish those were on the door. All right. Now check out this floor. Look at it's completely flat. No hump in the middle, no anything. Lots of legroom. Very impressive backseat area. For a vehicle this size, they did a good job of designing it to where it doesn't, impede itself. So we have the USB-A, USB-C ports there, a little storage pocket. There's no climate control vents back here though, just want to point that out. Has a body colored shark fin antenna here in the center. The third brake light is at the top of the glass in this black trim right here, looking nice. And look how dark the privacy glass is back here, nice. Because this is a compact SUV. Now there is no rear wiper, so that's one thing to consider. And it kind of has like this little swoopiness to the hatch, kind of like a deck lid spoiler type thing. So back here looking pretty good. Some people think the back looks better than the front. I think it all looks good. I think they did a good job on the design overall. The taillights have this soft glow red to them, looking pretty good. And turn signals are in the bottom portion of the vehicle, so a little bit disconnected there. Same thing with the backup camera. It's kind of disconnected down here. It's a little bit offset. It's down there with the tag, so not the best position, but it's still, still works and everything. You can use the vehicle. It's not a big deal. Parking sensors back here. They're kind of standing out a little bit, so you can see them. They're integrated into the body portion, but you can see very clearly they stand out. Then there's some like a silver strip and then a chrome strip back here. And the exhaust is fairly well hidden back here as well. So it does have a power liftgate, and you can of course use the key, or you can press the button here and it'll release and then lift up for you. And it has the hard touch surface there on the inside. Having a hatchback is very convenient. Opens up this wide open space so you can access the cargo area a lot easier than say a regular trunk. So it has this shade that you can take out and remove and add to your cargo space with it being out of the way, especially with the height. But it does do a good job of like hiding your stuff. But it already has the dark privacy glass, but keeps it out of sight, I guess. So you can see there's some hard plastics back here. This is really nice surface here. It has some tie downs here. You have one there as well. There's a little storage cuppy, but once again, if you put something in there, it's gonna slide around on you. So what you could do is put like some felt in these compartments. I think that's what I would do to help out with things sliding around, making noise, that kind of thing while you're driving, because that kind of stuff kind of drives me nuts. There's a single light, and it's not all that bright. I will have a night video, and we're going to see what it looks like at night. Don't have very good, not very optimistic as far as how this light working very well. So I guess it's better than nothing, but could have had one on the other side at the very, very minimum. Now I do like this floor because it lifts up, and it's actually like a heavy duty floor. It's not like a piece of plastic cardboard or anything like some vehicles have. So there's a very robust, surface to put stuff on. And you can lift it up, and it has like this little spot that you can lift it up, put it there, kind of holds itself up like that. And then there's a spare tire, an actual spare tire, not a tire inflator kit. And there is some space around it. So if you want to cram some stuff under here, you could do that. Now it's a 60-40 split, so you can just fold the seats down, add to your cargo space while still maintaining passenger space. You can fold down everything, take the shade out, and have a wide open space back here. It's pretty good. To lower the power liftgate, there's a button here. You can use the key as well, but you can just press that to bring it down. And it comes down fairly slow. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it is a non-locking fuel door with a capless design. As long as you have the key inside the vehicle to start it up, you just press and hold the brake and press this button right here. Now you don't have to hold it, you just press it. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. Now you notice the floor mat on this side snaps in place, unlike the other side. And there's the accelerator, brake pedal, and footrest, and there's lots of room. So the footrest is good. As far as the pedals, anyway, there's lots of room. There's a little bit of an issue right in here, which we'll get into soon. Let's take a look under the hood. To raise the hood, there's a latch a little bit to the left of center, so it's like right in here. Right, kind of follow this up, it's in there. Move it to the right and lift up. So you can see it right there. Now, it does have a fairly heavy hood, and it does require a prop to hold it up. So there's the prop there, and it swings up right to where the air is pointing. Underside of the hood is insulated. There's seals around the front and back of the engine compartment as well. This helps out with noise and airflow, and it does a good job with noise, and this vehicle is fairly quiet. There's also an insulated firewall and a heat shield right there as well, because that's where the turbo and exhaust and all that stuff is. So there's a lot of heat build up there, but that heat shield does a good job of keeping it from going into the engine, the passenger compartment, basically. So there's the battery, which is fairly easy to get to, and it's a 3-cylinder, a little 3-cylinder. So it's front-wheel drive vehicle. So the front of the engine is here, back of the engine is there. So it's 1, 2, 3 cylinders, and then the transmission, which is a 6-speed transmission, is located down in there. This is a front-wheel drive vehicle, and it's powered by a 1.2 liter 3-cylinder engine, and it puts out 137 horsepower at 5,000 RPMs and 162 pound-feet of torque between 2,500 and 4,000 RPMs. So it has a good broad RPM range there, and it feels very responsive for a 3-cylinder, a small 3-cylinder engine like this with the turbocharger. There's not really a huge turbo lag. I mean, it does have it, but it's not really a huge deal. The blind spot indicator has a little light that shines on the side mirror right in here. That's for the blind spot and rear cross traffic alert. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So you can see the door lock controls there. Power windows are one touch down, but you have to hold it to lift it up. So you have to hold it like that to lift it up. The back windows go all the way down. So there's no, some vehicles go down, they don't go all the way down, this one does. And then you have the ability to lock, like keep kids from rolling windows up and down. Side mirrors are adjusted here. Just pick a side and adjust it with a little pad. Pretty straightforward. And then the power lift gate, you press this in to open it, but you can adjust the height. So you have max 3/4. So if you have a garage that has a kind of lower ceiling or something like that, you can have it not open all the way, and then you have it off, so it doesn't open up at all. The driver's seat is powered, unlike the passenger seat, and it has the ability to raise, lower, tilt the back, and a 2-way lumbar adjustment as well. And fairly decent seats. Pretty impressed with them. To the left of the steering column, it has these buttons here. So this one is for the headlight switch. So it has the ability to turn it and toggle on or off the daytime running lights. Then you can turn on the parking lights or the headlights. And it has a little light indicator showing you that they're on now. You can toggle them off, back on. And then this is the dimmer switch for the interior gauges. You just pop it out like that, and then you can turn it. There's also a tilt and a telescoping steering column that you lock in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall, and I have the driver's seat all the way down and all the way back to show you the potential legroom here. And it's pretty impressive. This is too far back for me to drive. I mean, it's like a lot of room here. Now, of course, there's hardly any room behind me in the back seat, but to give you an idea of how much room you can have up here, it's pretty impressive. So when I pull it up to the position where I normally drive, then This right here is a hard surface, so it sometimes, not a big deal. Other vehicles are definitely worse. Sometimes my leg rests there and it's a little bit uncomfortable. But the biggest issue for me, really, and it's not really a huge deal, but I just want to mention it, is this armrest being so hard. Because the way my elbow is, it just kind of lands right on that nerve. And it really, there's times in which it really makes my arm ache later on. So, you know, if you don't really have that nerve problem, then you should be fine. And I just take a towel, a little washcloth, and just lay it there, and it solves that problem. Just want to point it out. It's, you know, for this type of vehicle, this type of price, something that you have to just understand that that's the case, right? Steering wheel is really nice. Has like this rubbery, soft feeling. It's not overly firm. It depends, you know, some places a little bit more firm than others, but down here it's nice and soft, and it gets a little bit firmer up here at the top. But it looks good, it feels good, and has a little bit of a flat bottom, but not a big deal. It's not overly weird looking, and it's very functional, and it's very simple. One of the best things about it, though, is it has the buttons on the back of the steering wheel. So you have up and down buttons here, if you can see that, for the volume here on the right side, and then on the left side is to change through the tracks or whatever you're playing as far as the radio station, the tune through the station or the tracks or whatever you're doing. So the buttons on the back of the steering wheel is really nice because it just lines up with your fingers, and yeah, it's just genius idea. I think all vehicles should have that. So here on the left side of the steering wheel, it has the cruise control. And so when you get in the vehicle, you start driving, all you have to do is pull down to set it, push up to resume, over here to cancel, and then this is to turn the system on or off. You can also press and hold the button to change to a non-adaptive cruise control. If you don't want the adaptive part to turn on, you can change that if you need to. But adaptive cruise control works so good on this vehicle, and it has the distance here. You set the distance you want. It has 3 different grades. And you know, close, medium, and far. Close is a little bit too close, depending on your speed. But yeah, it works fine. It's just kind of spoils you. And then it has a heated steering wheel, a little light that turns on when you turn it on. So that's pretty cool as well. Here on the right side, so it has the voice recognition, pretty basic, and I don't really care to use it. But it has a phone button to answer, and then a separate button to hang up, which I like. And then it has, if you just press this button normally, these buttons will correspond to the screen and show some information. So if we press the radio button, this audio right here, press that, it pops up here on the screen, and you can scroll through and make a selection for the audio source. If you press the right button, then it will go to your phone. The phone's not paired right now, but it'll show you like your previous calls and that kind of stuff. And once again, you can go through and select the one that you want to call, that kind of thing. So pretty good functionality there, but without being overly complex. Windshield wiper controls, of course, only for the front because there's not one in the back, and it does have an automatic function. So rain sensing at this price range is pretty good. And then you have the turn signal and the automatic high beams. And we'll see how they work at night in the night video, which will be coming shortly. Okay, so the gauge is fairly simple. I mean, it has the fuel gauge here, then it has the engine coolant temperature here, digital speedometer, as well as this little line that kind of lifts up as you drive and kind of represents a speedometer. Then you have little icons here for the lane keep assist system and all that stuff, adaptive cruise control. And then it has like a little seconds right here, like how many seconds you are away from the vehicle. And you can set the distance here. So you cycle that. It has a gap adjust, is what it's called on this vehicle. So far, medium, and close. So it also has the range. So it shows you how many miles you can drive. And the fuel tank is on the driver's side. So the little arrow right there pointing that out. And then there's the odometer and what gear you're in. So it's fairly basic, simple screen, but it is all digital. It looks pretty nice. And even though the screen is kind of small, it blends in with this big bezel right here. So it kind of looks like it's this large screen. This one over here is a little bit larger. And it has this volume button. It's kind of a weird spot, but it works fine. And you can press to mute it as well. So when you're driving, it's kind of covered up by the steering wheel, but it's not a big deal. So this screen is a little bit bigger. And so this is the home button. You do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You can quickly go to your climate control, your settings, and then you can set up a Wi-Fi hotspot here if you want. And then the icons here, really good because you can quickly go to audio, you can go to your phones, you can go to your traction control. For some reason it's on the screen instead of a separate button. You can turn it off if you need to. Right here, this button would be your gauges, so you have your trip information on this screen. To this screen you'll have your trip, like trip information, fuel economy. You can hit that and get reset trip 1, trip 2. We can also show it in cluster, so we can hit that and it'll pop up here if we want to have that there. If we want to remove it, we'll just remove it right here like that. We can go to gauges. We have battery voltage, coolant temperature. If we want to show that in cluster, we can hit that and it pops up here. We can remove it if we want. Same thing with coolant temperature. And then you have the maintenance. Tire pressure, it shows each tire. Oil life. Engine air filter life, which is pretty cool to have that as well. If we select that, we can show it in the cluster as well. Now it has the outside temperature here. It also has the digital clock. I wish that was a little bit bigger, but you know, fill it in a little bit better, be nice. But it's always in that corner, so it doesn't move around. You know, some vehicles, like you go to a different screen, and then it's like, you know, they have to change it somewhere else. At least it's in the same spot, so your eyes know right where to go. While you're driving, you glance down, look at the time, and then you're back to driving. But if it was a little bit bigger, I'd like it better. I've been averaging 27 miles per gallon. And, you know, for the vehicle this size and this weight and everything, seems a little bit low. But maybe it's because I'm driving it too hard or something like that. So you can go into climate here on the screen. There's also buttons below as well. We'll show you that in a second. There's the temperature, where you want the air to blow, the fan speed, and all that stuff. Recirculate the air. And of course you have the same thing down here for the most part. Temperature, fan speed, heated seat controls, which is a 3-stage heated seat for driver and the passenger. Recirculate the air. You also have front and rear defrosters here as well. Then an automatic function. So the automatic works pretty good. Air conditioning works good. I mean, it's a really good air conditioning system. This is a white vehicle, so it doesn't get as hot, but still, I was pretty impressed with it. Doesn't have to work very hard to get cool in here. There's a 12-volt power supply, USB-A, USB-C, wireless charge pad, which actually charges my phone with the case on it. And it's a pretty beefy case here. So you can see right there, this kind of somewhat rubberized there. But yeah, it's just real easy to slip it in there. It charges, holds it in place. So yeah, that's really good. Now you have a idle stop off button. Is here, and it's kind of hidden behind the shifter, but I typically turn it off when I get in the vehicle. And then there is a lane keep assist system. You know, works. It's not like the most aggressive system, but it kind of at least lets you know when you're going over the lane type thing. And then there is the cup holders. There's no like accommodation for different size cups. In other words, like there's no like little bumps or arms that stick out. So when you put a bottle or something in there, it kind of wobbles around, but it's not a big deal. And this is all open and it's flat at the bottom, so you can utilize the space for other things besides cups, like your cell phone or whatever. All right, there's the shifter, and it kind of has this large handle here, and so there's a button on the underside under here. You press, pull back. This is a long travel shifter here. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse so you can see what the backup camera looks like. And has the active guidelines here. You can see behind the vehicle. It's not like the most clear view, but it works fine. And I like the way it fills in the screen. Some vehicles have like a big screen and then they just have the image really small. This one fills it the whole screen, and you have a decent view. Now, of course, you know, the position of the camera itself being next to the tag, it's a little bit limiting, but still, I think they did a pretty decent job. There's neutral, drive, and then there's a low range. So there is this low range here in which you can limit the gears, and there's a button here on the side. So if you're going down a hill, a steep hill, and you need some engine braking, that kind of thing, you can use this to basically slow the vehicle down. So you can see right here it says L1, L2, L3, so you can see what the limit is. So it's a gear limiter, and it goes up to 6 because it has 6 gears. But that's only for like, you need engine braking because you're going down a steep hill, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's electronic parking brake. It engages the rear wheels. You lift it up to engage it, and I'll show you here on the screen. And then to disengage it, you press and hold the brake and push down, and it'll disengage. Little storage compartment right here, and it's actually kind of like this rubber surface, so just unlike the other compartments, this one, things won't slide around as much. And it has you can take it out, basically. It has like this little tab. You can grab it and take it out, clean it, and put it back in. Here's the armrest, and it's kind of rubbery soft. It's a little bit better than the door, but it's not like cushy, like a pillow or anything. And it has a little movement to it, but doesn't rattle. You press and release it, and it has spring loaded, so it doesn't slap back down on you. As far up as it goes, and then it has this kind of deep compartment. So it's like a smooth plastic. I got my business cards in the way, but there is a felt lining at the bottom. There's a felt lining in there, and it's just a deep chasm. No connectivity or charge ports or anything like that in there. And there's not really a place for wires to go in and out. Not a dedicated place anyway. Okay, so it has a auto dim rearview mirror, and the driver's side mirror is also auto dim. It's auto dimming now because I have the shade over the light sensor, which is located right back here. So up here, you just have the ability to turn on this light here, or off, or you can have it turn on when you open up the door in that center position. So it's not like there's any kind of reading light or anything like that. It just has this little tiny light there in the middle. And then this is for the sunroof. So you have the slide and then the tilt. We'll show you that in a second. And then there is a vinyl wrapping on this visor. The headliner is a cloth, a black cloth. This is a vinyl. It does have a mirror and 2 lights. And the way this, it's kind of small, and it works fine here in the front, but when you go to the side here, it has this little clip as well. But when you put it here on the side, it doesn't slide out or anything. So there's like this huge gap where the sun's shining directly in my eyes. So yeah, it would be nice if it slid out, or at least had a little extension that popped out. Okay, so the sunroof. So the sunroof has a shade, covers 100% of the light. You just manually open it up, and let's go ahead and slide it back. It goes back a little bit more when you press it again. All right, move it forward. And it's kind of cool, it moves the shade back a little bit further. Now let's go ahead and tilt it, so you can tilt it up. All right. And make sure it's closed. All right, now we can close that. Looking at the visibility here in the back, it's actually pretty good. I mean, it has these wide pillars right there, but that's pretty much common. You can, I mean, looking over my shoulder, looking on the side mirrors and all that stuff, even without using a camera, I haven't had any problem with changing lanes or backing up or anything like that. So, it's fine. It has these pillars here on the side, and then the front pillars. The front pillars are, you can see it has this little spot right here that kind of connects, kind of making it a little bit wide, but there's a space here before you get to the side mirror. So it's a little bit helps out. Some vehicles, the side mirror just adds to the blind spot. This one, they separate it so you can still at least see through there. Something to understand about this vehicle, this is the top trim, and the lower trims have a different rear suspension system. So this one has a linked system, and the lower trims have a torsion bar in the back. So it's a little bit better in the handling. I don't think the average person would even notice, but just want to point that out, that the top trim actually does have a separate, different suspension system. It's not just like, added features inside the vehicle or something like that. So when I first started driving, or I was about to drive this vehicle, I anticipated that it'd probably be a frustrating driving experience as far as the power, you know, 3-cylinder engine, not very big, but how they put it together, with the turbocharger and the transmission, for almost every scenario, just kind of normal driving, unless you're like top speed in the highway and you have to pass at a rapid rate for whatever reason, then it kind of struggles. But just normal driving around, zipping through town on the back roads like this and out on the highway, it hasn't been an issue at all. It's actually been pleasurable. Some vehicles, you know, it's like kind of frustrating because you just don't feel like you have enough power, and it feels like you just constantly, you know, just feel too weak, you know. This one's okay. I mean, it's not like a fast, powerful race car vehicle or anything, but you just feel like you can handle almost any situation. You set the cruise control, and with the adaptive cruise control system, the lane system kind of doesn't really do a whole lot. I mean, it just lets you know if you're going over the lane. But so let's just kind of let go of it here, see what happens. Yeah, good. It gives a little nudge there, but now it's you know, kind of wandering. So yeah, it's not really a lane holding system. It's more like a nudge you back to the center type system. But yeah, that's not a big deal. But the adaptive cruise control works good. That's really good for highway use and bumper to bumper traffic and stuff like that. And all that works fine. And it has a not overly, the steering response is not overly light. Like, it has a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a sporty feel, I guess. You know, you can feel the road, you can feel it. A little bit of resistance there. The engine's not overly loud either. I don't know if you could probably hear it because the camera kind of makes everything seem louder than what it is, but it's not obnoxious. Same thing with the road noise and the wind noise. It's relatively subdued. I mean, it's fairly quiet in here. It doesn't sound like a cheap, loud vehicle. It feels pretty good. It sounds good. It feels good. I was, you know, kind of impressed, especially for the price point. So this is the top trim. So this is like $32,000. But why this vehicle is interesting is you can actually get, I think it's like $24,000 starting out. So that's a pretty good price for pretty much any vehicle nowadays. So if the lower trim is anything like this one, as far as the noise and the ride quality and everything, I know it's going to have the torsion beam in the back, which is not a big deal because like a lot of vehicles have that. But you know, so yeah, if it's anything like this vehicle, then, you know, it'd be a pretty good option. And looking at the difference in the features between the trims, it seems like the base model still has a lot of, you know, a lot of good options there. It doesn't have the adaptive cruise control and blind spot detection system and stuff like that, but it still has a lot of features, and I'll have those listed in the description of this video. Maybe a link to, you know, more information compiled to make it a little bit easier to find, because it seems the website's a little bit kind of hard to navigate sometimes, trying to see it like an actual difference between the trims. At high speeds, the small engine handles it. I don't hear any kind of engine noise. It's not like it's struggling. It doesn't feel like it's loud or revving up too high or struggling, and feels like it's at a comfortable RPM level and handles the hills fine. So let me know what you think about it in the comments. It's one of those type of vehicles that, you know, yes, there are compromises, but for the amount of money that you can get a vehicle like this for, it's pretty much could be definitely worth it for a lot of people. The compromises aren't really a big deal. It's a really solid looking vehicle, and it's very presentable. You know, you can kind of like, you can go to a job interview and you can pull up and you can feel fine, you know, pulling up in this vehicle. It looks really good. It looks like it just, as far as the looks, it kind of punches above its weight type thing. Yeah, so that was surprising to me. It looks good, it feels good. Externally, you know, the design is nice and very functional as far as the hatchback and the back seats. You know, lots of room getting in and out of the back seats. The cargo area, you know, functional safety features here, and just overall, I think it's a great vehicle. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.